This is the Elektron digitakt, and we all know it's great for house and techno, but will it jungle? What is up, greedy gods? It's your boy Big Umami, and today we're back with yet another installment of Will It, a series in which I pick one particular groovebox and find out how good it is for producing one particular genre of music. So last time out we used this very same machine to produce some dusty lo-fi boom bap, but today we're gonna use it to produce some jungle. And I know I've been making so many jungle drum and bass inspired tutorials. I promise this is the last one, and then I'm gonna go back to regular programming. So it's fair to say that after this video, I'm gonna give you a little break from jungle and drum and bass. Yeah, I'm very proud of that one. Anyway, I'm very excited, so let us not waste any more time and let's get into it. We're gonna grab a couple breaks. The first we're gonna grab is this classic hot pants break. And with version 1.5, Elektron has introduced 4 different machines. We're gonna select the slice machine here, and you can see the digitakt slice this break perfectly. However, there is a catch. This is actually a break that I pre-processed and quantized in Ableton before importing it into this machine. If you don't do that, this is what you get. There is no way to change the slicing points either, so this is definitely something to keep in mind if you're considering getting a digitakt for any genre that requires slicing samples. Let's select a different break now. I like this one I found in the free, uber famous Jungle pack. So, I know that the snare is on slice number 3, and I know I want to place the snares on all 5s and 13s for now. So I turn all 5s and 13s on. Then I go and parameter lock all of them to slice number 3. Add a little kick just for context. And at this point you get the gist. You place a few notes around and experiment with parameter locking different slices until you get something like this. This is where hot pants break comes in. I'm gonna select track 2, load the sample, and this one I always like to pitch it up. I don't know, it gives off nostalgic vibes when pitched up. Once again, I'm gonna press Funk plus Source to open up the machine menu, slice, and in this case I'm changing the grid from 4 to 16 in order to have more control and granularity on my slices. One thing to look out for is that when you switch machine from one shot to slice, it resets your sample's pitch, so I'm gonna set it back to +3. I'm looking to use this break mostly as an embellishment. I wanna take advantage of that crisp tambourine. I'm live recording the slices I wanted to use just on the first bar out of 4, cause I'm lazy and not very good. Fortunately, I can then press the page button and the digitakt will automatically copy all of them in the next 3 pages, which is very convenient. And going back to track 1, I'm adding some ghost notes as embellishments, like this little snare over here. After some more knob twiddling, this is what I've come up with. Alright, so now we need some synths. Let me find a good one. And of course, it's this one, because this is from my very own Big Umami Bombs sample pack, which you can find at bigumami.com or at the link in the description box below. But I digress. Let's hear how this sample sounds in werp mode. I like to stretch it out a bit. Let me just play around with the parameters here. Honestly, it doesn't sound too bad in context with drums, but at the same time, I can't pretend this is actually a bona fide time stretch. This is a very crude attempt at granular time stretching. So honestly, I'd rather go back to one-shot mode and record something. But I still wanted to try and make these notes sound longer, so I've added some delay and reverb. Now I'm trying to add a subtle vibrato with an LFO. Alright, so it's time for a Reese bass. In a blank pattern, I'm gonna load a single cycle sawtooth, which I can find in the sample pack called Some Single Cycle Waves. And by the way, you too can find this sample pack for absolutely free, again at my website bigumami.com. Once loaded, I'm gonna turn loop on, go to the amp page and turn the decay all the way to note. I'm making a very long 64-step note on the very first step. Now, these basses are created using two oscillators just slightly out of tune with each other, so I'm gonna replicate the steps on a new track. But this time I'm gonna turn the tune up slightly, just 0.18 is what you need, and I'm gonna write down the same 64 steps long note. And this is it. Habemus risum. I'm gonna resample it by going into the recs. I'm gonna set the maximum recording length to 64 steps using encoder E. I'm gonna select main L plus R as my inputs using encoder G. Make sure that the audio is coming in. Press yes to arm recording and play to start the recording. Now, back in our main pattern, we're going to load the recorded sample in one of our slots, right here where this tom-tom lives. We need to go into samples, recorded, and there you have it. Turn the decay down, and now we're ready to use it as a bass. Well, maybe we're going to put a nice low pass filter on this, as this is very, very harsh. Much better. Also, I'm using an LFO to modulate the chords filter and create some nice color and movement. Nice, this is really starting to take shape. So let me stop for a second right now and let me say that if you enjoy the genre that we've been producing together today, there is one way you can support me for absolutely free. And that is by pre-saving my first single called MSN Love, coming out on Spotify June 9th under my alias Tomato Breaks. So Tomato Breaks is my, jungle drum and bass sort of alias, and yeah, that's the first single that's coming out from my album. Also, if you're watching this video after June 9th, the link in the description box will have changed to the actual link to the song. So you can click on it and listen to it and maybe put it in your favorites, and it would be great if you could put it in a playlist, because apparently all of these things are very important to the Spotify algorithm, and so they're very important to me. I would really appreciate your support, and it doesn't cost you a single penny. Cool? Cool. Let's go. Alright, time to incorporate some vocals in this. Here's a nice sample that I'm gonna high cut, then drench in reverb and delay. Sounds good. We now need a crash cymbal, and which better crash than a 909 crash, of course. I'm also gonna drench this in delay and reverb. I will love some more stereo imaging, so I go into the delay page and make it ping pong. The only problem now is that I don't really want this crash to play every 4 bars. Rather, I want it to play every 16 bars. So I go into conditional triggers and set it to 1/4. Please note that the number 4 in this case refers to full loops and not bars. So the crash is gonna play on the very first 4-bar loop, then it's gonna be music for 3 4-bar loops, then it's gonna play again. I'm doing something similar to the vocal sample, but I'm setting it to play every 4th loop out of 4, so it's just gonna play at the very end. And this is confusing, so why don't we just listen to the result, shall we? There you go. Let's think about an intro now. In a new pattern, I've already muted the main drums. I want to replace them with some atmospheric ride cymbals. Let's filter them out a bit and put some ambience. the more I played this pattern, the more I realized that we also need some reverse cymbals to get a nice crescendo at the end of our loop. So we're gonna get our 909 crash again and set it to play in reverse. Yeah, just like that. Alright, so I promise we're almost done. All I need is a cool riser effect to use as a drop. A riser is quite simple. The starting point is pretty much the same thing as a Reese bass, so 2 slightly detuned saw waves, plus some white noise. What makes a riser different from a Reese bass is that, well, you need to make it rise in pitch, and or we'll then need to replicate the same settings in another track, but this time we'll turn the tune value down or up a bit. This will cause a cool dissonance like so. Next, I'm going to load up a white noise sample, and instead of assigning the LFO to the pitch, I'll assign it to the filter. I'm going to play with the time values till it sounds right. Or, you know, until the camera craps out on me. Fortunately, I've already shown you how to resample on the digitakt, so you already know where this is going. We're gonna resample this and we're gonna use it in our pattern as a drop right before the main loop. And so all that's left to do now is to have a cheeky little jam. Time for my favorite section. Let's vote. And let's start with usability. And I've got to say, I've come down quite a bit on this 1.5 update since it came out last March. I was super pumped with it, to the point that I might have jumped the gun on declaring how game-changing it was in my previous videos. Don't get me wrong, having 4 different, machine engines for your samples is great, but the slicing machine won't let you move the slice points, which is incredibly annoying. Also, that means that you have to pre-process all of your breaks before importing them into the machine. Otherwise, well, it's pretty useless, honestly. Also, the werp machine, at this point, I don't even consider it like a time-stretching editing tool, more like a cool sound effect that you can use every once in a while. That being said, I did make a beat quite effortlessly, and I was able to make a Reese bass on this machine, and I didn't have the chance to actually make an 808 bass, but I've done it in a previous video, and I know for a fact that you can do it quite easily. When the slice machine works and the breaks are already kind of prefixed, it does work really well, and it's really cool to use, and it gives you lots of features. So all in all, I mean, I'm gonna give it a 6. So just 1 point below the previous vote that I gave this machine in my previous video. But hey, this is how I feel after, 1 month of using this machine. I know, this is all over the place, but I never said that this is a science-based approach. This is a vibes-based approach. And this is what I'm vibing with right now. A 6. Let's get into sound right now. And at the cost of repeating myself, this machine sounds absolutely beautiful. It sounds so clean and pristine. It's amazing. I just wish it had a few more effects, really. And I mean, it's not asking for much. When I was working on the Respace, I wanted a chorus so bad, or even a phaser or something. I don't know. I think Elektron could possibly put a couple more effects into this machine and it would be so good. All in all though, it does sound great, so I'm gonna give the sound a 9. So all in all, how good is the digitakt for making jungle? Well, it's good. It's 7.5 good, exactly. If you have a library of pre-quantized drum breaks, and again there are plenty free ones on the internet, it is a great starting point for making some jungle music. And then maybe, transferring your ideas on a DAW with Overbridge, which is an amazing software that they provide with this machine. So yeah, all in all it's good. But is it worth the money? Well, this skyrocketed to 900 euros after the 1.5 update. I got it before that for around 800. So it's not a cheap machine. So worth it or not is very much up to you. Maybe you're interested in dollars jamming in general, and in that sense, this is one of the coolest, groove boxes that you can get. But if you're interested in jungle, I guess if I had 900 euros, I would just invest them in software, which is great because you need much less money to do that on a computer, as you can see in this video that I made last week. And yeah, this is it for today. Please like, please subscribe, let me know what you want me to do next in terms of Will It, the series. And yeah, I love you very much. See you next time.